Look, and by no means am I questioning Mulkey's strategy on this. She understands this way more than we all do as far as how many times she's had to deal with this stuff. But, with the Angel Reese and the Haley Van Lith situation, both have eligibility remaining at LSU. And in the way that I'm reading it, and I could be wrong, but I saw Angel Reese tweet out after Saturday's performance versus Tennessee, where she was just an absolute monster. I mean, Reese is taking over games. It's pretty fun to see how much this means to her coming down the stretch here. She tweeted out Saturday, "Should I stay or should I go?" Like, question mark. And I don't know if that's just kind of some game playing, like whether, she's just wanting to get a reaction out of people. Reese doesn't strike me to be that type of person, that type of athlete. It seems as if she's had those moments already. She understands her star power. She understands how bright she shines, how loud her voice is when she speaks. I would think that, trolling a question like that at this point for her would be a little bit beyond where she is. I mean, she seems a little bit bigger than that. So to me, if she's contemplating and putting that out on social media, she's really thinking about it. She's really asking herself, should she stay or should she go? And in that, in that case, you would think that LSU would be recruiting her back to campus just for the basketball stuff. And let me say this going into this discussion. We've got some Kim Mulkey sound we want to get to here. That she, again, it seems like is setting up that this is kind of the end of the road for Van Lith and Reese in college. And going into the season, I wondered if there was going to come a point where the Reese hype just got too much, right? Where it was going to reach a point where you were just like, okay, you know what? It's probably best if everybody just moves and goes on. From my vantage point, and I've followed the team, I go to the games, I'm real interested and invested in what's going on with them. I haven't gotten the sense that Angel Reese's off-the-court popularity has cost this team at all beyond the point of the early season stuff. And really, that stuff was on the court. And maybe it was kind of a bubble and boil over from what was happening off the floor. But I anticipated that to happen more frequently and maybe get to a point where it was going to be too much to deal with at this kind of point of Reese's junior season. And to me, it's not been. I mean, to me, she has not lost her competitive edge. She's still the best player on the floor each night she steps out there. She's a total game changer. She knows it. And, like we talked about last week, I think actually on the flip side of it, she's been more disrespected by the game than she deserves to be. I'm not asking anybody to roll a red carpet and throw rose petals at her feet when she walks into the arena. But understand, when she shows up, she's also bringing a ton of cameras with her, a ton of ad dollars with her, a ton of exposure for not only her team, but the rest of the people on the floor and the other programs. I mean, Angel Reese, in my opinion, look, when Shaq came out and said that Reese is the best athlete to come out of LSU, sure, it was something that everybody was like, say what? Right? Maybe way before the cart and horse situation, but the further and the more data she puts down, scoring 2,000 points, carrying her team to another postseason run, depending on what happens here, she goes down as an all-timer. Right? I mean, like, she's in the discussion with Simone Sylvia from an LSU women's standpoint, but she's touching, Shaq, Burrow, Jaden Daniels territory. Where, you might name a street after her in 20 years. And having the opportunity and the ability for her to come back, I'm trying to figure out why it's such a foregone conclusion that she's leaving if she's really debating and asking, should she stay or should she go? I mean, if she's asking if she should stay, to me, LSU should be recruiting her as hard as any 5-star there is in the country.
Retention.
And then the Van Lith situation, I just think she needs another year of college basketball. I mean, sure, from a marketability standpoint, I guess it makes sense. But I was watching an interview yesterday with Candace Parker. PTI reruns throughout the day, and I caught it last night. I was watching a rerun of it, and Candace Parker was, they do the 5 good minutes segment with somebody that they bring in an interview, and Parker was their subject yesterday. And on the way out, Kornheiser asks Parker, hey, Candace, I saw you took less money to stay in Las Vegas, and then I saw whoever just signed with the New York Liberty, Brianna Stewart, took a deal where that was less money, where she was being offered in other places to play in the WNBA. And Kornheiser said, is there something that we need to know? Is there something that's going on that in the league? And Candace Parker said it out loud. She said, look, the WNBA salary for some of us is not our main means of income. She was talking about herself with ad deals. She's on the desk of TNT's NBA coverage. She's on ESPN's desk for WNBA and college basketball lead-ins. I mean, she makes money off the floor, a lot like Angel Reese, right? And I mean, behind closed doors, I would imagine people like Brianna Stewart and Candace Parker can kind of handpick where they want to go. Like, they can call the commissioner and be like, look, I want to go to Vegas. Parker played in L.A., didn't she? She was with the Los Angeles Sparks for a while. So, I mean, Angel Reese is going to be able to play wherever she wants to play in the WNBA. I mean, she's pulling in with so much star power that the league's going to be like, where do you want to go? I mean, she's not going to be in Indiana. I mean, she might have to be her first couple of years, but, once her first contract's up, she'll be like Parker and Stewart and say, look, I want to go to New York. I want to go to Baltimore. I want to go to wherever it is. But my point being is, if she's on the table of possibly coming back, I mean, every time I hear Mulkey talk about her, she's like, yeah, these are the last couple of days we got with Angel. And you're just like, well, it doesn't sound like it from Angel's standpoint. And maybe there is, like, behind closed doors, and, Mulkey's just not playing the game, right? I mean, like, maybe behind closed doors, she's like, look, this is it. I'm leaving. But, I mean, I would just think if that was the case, she wouldn't be.
What's the angle?
She wouldn't be putting that out on social media, right? I mean,
that's old.
She's too big for that.
That's what I'm saying. That's like high school recruiting type deal. Like, where should I commit?
After your sophomore year, if you're wanting more attention and you make a tournament run, and I mean, she's Angel Reese. I mean, like, they talk about her on NBA broadcasts. I mean, the whole world knows who she is. She can, whatever she knows, whatever she puts on social media is going to cause a reaction. It's going to get people talking. So to me, that would just be such a minor league troll on her part. Her star power. You shine brighter than that.
And it doesn't.
And she knows it.
Right. And it doesn't make a lot of sense if it's a troll job to be like, oh, I'm going to come. It's not even like, oh, I'm coming back, or should I? It's literally, should I stay or should I go? And the weird juxtaposition between all of this is you have Kim Mulkey saying one thing and Angel Reese seemingly undecided, and I don't know what the angle is for all of this, if it's to stir up attention on one side or if it's for Kim Mulkey to say, after this year, like, I'm done with it. Like, I'm essentially saying, go. But from a basketball standpoint, I don't know why Kim Mulkey would do that because there's no doubt in my mind that the team is better with Angel Reese and you can have her for another year. I don't know if it's a thing behind the scenes where the NIL is just too much, where you have to deal with it every day and it's not about
Maybe,
basketball.
I don't.
But I feel like Angel Reese
I
is set up
yeah,
on
I
that.
don't
Like
get that
she's got people in
sense.
camps that are doing it for
I
her.
mean, she's a business.
Right.
Like she is a corporation. She has people handling her money. I mean, her NIL. This is not some, like just thrown together operation. I mean, she makes over
a
$1 million
brand.
bucks.
She's a brand.
I mean, a year. I mean, she's definitely someone that has this organized. Is my point. I don't get this. I don't know the inner workings of LSU women's basketball, but I have a good sense of it. Just like all of us who were invested following. I mean, does anybody get the sense that Angel Reese is a problem? I do not at all. In fact, I would call her the most dominant player in the league and possibly in the sport, right? I mean, I know Caitlin Clark. I know she can score. But Angel Reese, how much did you feel it when she came off the floor in that South Carolina game? How much did the game change? That's the best team in the country. Angel Reese on the floor, South Carolina's on the ropes. Angel Reese off the floor, South Carolina's 10 points better than you.
Makes a run and beats you when LSU had the lead the entire game.
Right.
With Angel Reese on the floor. And then she comes out after she fouls out, and the entire tide of the game changed. Where you could feel South Carolina had momentum, and it just the other foot was going to drop at some point, and there was no stopper. There was no Angel Reese to kind of pull down the rebound, get set, get it, because that's what she does. And I think that's when it comes down to like the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese debate. What Angel Reese does isn't the flashiest highlight of all time. It's a lot of Stewart. It's a lot of Caitlin Clark pulling up from the logo, and then you get, like, it's easy to put on social media. It's a clip. Like, Angel Reese is missing her first shot, getting it back, getting fouled, and won. Like, and it's not as, I guess, visually pleasing or aesthetically pleasing in terms of highlight.